Saturday in Tryon, North Carolina, and it's let's see, it's 2, almost 3 o'clock. It's New Year's Eve in just a few hours, and we're looking at a new year. The Jews celebrated a new year also. It was a feast of the trumpets. You'll find a reference to it in Numbers 29, verses 1 through 6, and Leviticus 23, beginning at verse 24. It was a feast of the new moon, feast of the trumpets, one of 7 days of a holy convocation. And it was not just the blowing of the trumpets during the regular offering, but rather there would be the blowing of the trumpets most of the day. There would be a large animal sacrifice, a young bullock, a ram, and 7 lambs, a kid for a sin offering. And it's believed that the Jews today and back in those days would recite Psalm 81 as they would enter into their new year. And I thought it was appropriate to take a look at Psalm 81. Let me read it to you. Sing for joy to the God of our strength. Shout joyfully to the God of Jacob. Raise a song, strike the timbrel, the sweet resounding lyre and the harp. Blow the trumpet at the new moon, at the full moon, and on our feast day, for it is a statute for Israel, an ordinance of God of Jacob. He established it for a testimony in Joseph. And when he went throughout the land of Egypt, I heard a language that I did not know. I relieved his shoulders with a burden. His hands were freed from the basket. You called in the trouble, and I rescued you. I answered you in the hiding place of the thunder. I proved you at the waters of Meribah. Selah. Hear, O my people, and I will admonish you. O Israel, if you would just listen to me. Let there be no strange God among you, nor shall you worship any foreign gods. I, the Lord, am your God, who brought you up from the land of Egypt. Open your mouth wide, and I will fill it. But my people did not listen to my voice, and Israel did not obey me. So I gave them over to the stubbornness of their own hearts, to walk in their own devices. Oh, that my people would listen to me. I would quickly subdue their enemies and turn my hand against their adversaries. Those who hate the Lord would pretend obedience to him, and the time of punishment would be forever. But I would feed you with the finest of the wheat, and with honey from the rock I would satisfy you. What a contrasting psalm. Contrast of obedience versus disobedience. A contrast of pretending versus being real. It's a great psalm, and believed to have been spoken or sung during the Feast of the Trumpets, the New Year, the Jewish New Year, and the blowing of the trumpets to remind the people of all God had done for them in the land of Egypt and delivering them from their oppressors, but also reminding them of their disobedience. They're falling away from God. They're going after strange gods. Isn't that different than today? Do we not have a large number of people who, in spite of all that God's done for us, in spite of how blessed we are as a nation, that we go after strange gods, false religions, no religion at all? We turn our backs on God and we don't obey him. The last part of this psalm is quite a unique part of the psalm, for it says, if they would just listen to me, if they would just walk in my ways, I would subdue their enemies, and I would be against all of their adversaries. And then the very last verse, and I would feed you with the finest of wheat, and with honey from the rock, I would satisfy you. Let 2017 be a year when we obey him, when we don't turn from him, when we stay close to him, And then he promises that he'll take care of our adversaries. He promises us he'll take care of feeding us, not just with food, but with spiritual food. I hope that you'll think about 2017 as a year of obedience to God, a new year, a time to blow the trumpets and say, God, we're with you. We'll not forsake you, and we know you'll not forsake us. I'm so glad that we don't have to offer animal sacrifices. I shudder when I think about the slaying of a bullock, a ram, and 7 lambs. I can see that bloody scene in my mind's eye, and I'm so glad that Jesus became our one time for all times sacrifice. And his blood on the cross of Calvary cleanses us from all unrighteousness. But God still wants us to be obedient. He wants us to walk in his ways, not to go on to our own ways of our own making. He wants us to be obedient to him. He wants us to remember him and to be thankful for what he's done for us. I hope that you're going to do that in 2017. That's your thought for the day. God bless you, and Happy New Year.